إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Dear believers, I greet all of you today on this wonderful occasion of this Jumah Salat, this prayer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum. As always, we seek refuge with Allah from Satan, the rejected enemy and his company. Praise is for Allah. We seek His help. We seek His forgiveness. We seek refuge with Allah from the harm of our own souls. From the harm of our own souls and from our own harmful deeds. Whomever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides will never be led astray. And whomever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala leads astray, no one is able to guide that person. I bear witness that there is no God, no other God besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I bear witness that Muhammad, prayers and peace be upon him, is his servant and messenger, the last of the prophets. We also witness as leading Muslims, Muslim believers, that revelation has come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the prophet of Arabia, the one God, Allah, made him a messenger prophet. And speaking to the mirror, and I know I'm talking to the mirror, referred to as Khatam Nabiyin. And as we mirror this with one another, there is no doubt, I'm sure, in our minds, that he's the period on the long, long paragraph of prophets that have ever come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is a mercy, as our dear leader has opened our eyes to say, to see, and to understand. He is a mercy to all of the systems of knowledge. Now, I know you heard this 100 million times, but today, I would like for you and me, let that resonate on us. That He is the Lord of, this is the tafsir of Imam Hamidullah, that He is the Lord of all systems of knowledge. And I would like for myself and you to reflect on getting your head around how many systems of knowledge there are in this universe and beyond this universe. I want myself, and I would like for you to think about this. This is the Lord that has created from the beginning, and He's always creating. He's still creating. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. And the prophet chosen to be the seal of all the prophets is Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, the only request that I have, first, as your brother, and one of the Khateebs that you have listened to over the years, and I underscore a Khateeb, that's what I am, a Khateeb, giving the Khutbah, just so happen to be giving the Khutbah today. And I'm your host, Imam Hamidullah, and welcome to the great, beautiful city of Orlando, Florida. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To continue this conversation, to this mirror, you, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Akhi miratun Hatim. The brother, and this includes the sisters, the brother is the mirror for his brother. And I won't say that there may not be no scratches on this mirror that's talking to you right now. There may be a couple of scratches or glitches on this mirror. But we're doing our very best to follow our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We continue. The only request is listen as though I wasn't here. If you heard some kind of microphone or some kind of this was here or radio or something, don't pay no attention to me. I'm not that person. You hear what I'm saying? Because the message is the illumination for the human heart. The message is the illumination for the human heart and the human mind. So as I continue to read verbatim, for the most part, what I have prepared for you and me today, we witness that the Qur'an, the revelation, came to him and has reached us. These are the words of the Imam Hamidullah verbatim. We witness that the Qur'an, the revelation, came to him, meaning Muhammad, Rasulullah sallallahu, and has reached us here in the United States of America. And we witness that revelation has opened our hearts and minds and has revived and is reviving now. It's not only revived us when we first took Shahada, I know you know that, but I'm saying it is in the active case. The activity went on then, and the activity is going on right now at this very moment. Reviving us, revitalizing us, opening our hearts, opening our souls, and actually giving a nourishment and a comfort to our souls. And I'm asking Allah right now that if there's anyone in this audience, attending this khutbah right now, that has a hard heart, oh Allah, make their hard heart soft.
Ameen.
And only that person that has that hard heart can do that introspection and have that operation on themselves by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because I know us. And you know us too, right? Am I right or wrong? I know you know yourself, you know me, you know all of us. We're no strangers to one another. So that's when I'm talking with the vigor that I am. And I will probably get a little bit more vigorous in the second part of the khutbah. I don't know. Only Allah knows that. But I want to say this to the one that had a hard heart and he didn't want to change it or she didn't want to change it. I love you. I love you, brother. I love you, sister. So he's reviving us. He has revived us and he's reviving us to the best type of life. Have you ever witnessed any time in your life that was more beautiful than the one you're living right now? It's a beautiful life. And we're taking into consideration everything that's taking place on the globe. Our hearts go out to the innocent men, the innocent women. And we'll just say in the Middle East. Because, you can call anything, and, whatever's going over here, it says the Middle East. All of that is not the Middle East. But our hearts go out to innocent people that have been caught up in this situation, and that's all I have to say about that right now. So, we have communities from all over these United States and outside of these United States, and we are committed to ward off the worst things in our own life and the worst things in the environment. That's our mission. To ward off, if there's anything that is not in accord with the will of God in me, and I want you to think about it now. If there's anything in you right now, as I'm speaking, that is not in accord with the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala right now, we ask Allah, oh Allah, remove that, remove all of that, because we know how we can be as brothers and sisters. I was talking to somebody other day, they said, why would y'all call each other brother and sister? I said, we didn't have no choice. We were sold off to this plantation, that plantation, another plantation, other plantation. We couldn't keep up with our families. So we just said, the heck with it. How you doing, brother? Because you might be some kin to me.
That's right.
And in reality, all of us, and I'm speaking to the mirror, all of us are the sons and daughters of Adam alayhi salam. I want you to think about that. So what does that mean? You know, that means that the blood that's running through your veins right now is the same blood that ran through the veins of Adam alayhi salam and his wife Hawa. Think about it. I want you to think about it. Yeah, and I think it's important to bring these things up because sometimes we forget all of us are related. We're human beings. Oh. And Allah gave the news as Imam so diligently and eloquently explained to us. He said, and this is the recitation for that. أَمَّا يَتَسَاءَلُونَ عَنِ النَّبَإِ الْعَظِيمِ. Those are the two verses of Surah 78, as you know. Translation, one translation, and many translations. And what do they most often ask questions about? Another translation says, and what are they disputing about? And so the root word is sa'al, it means to ask. What are they asking? What is it that people keep asking about? People have not come to the conclusion that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the God. And Muhammad is the last prophet from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, here's a lesson there for all of us. I didn't come to give an assignment, but this is one. Delve off into what is the difference between a Nabi and a Rasul. I'll tell you this right now before you, because the Imam explained to it, but I want to say, the scholars, the ulama, right now, as I'm speaking to you, they're grappling with this whole concept about Khatam Nabiyin, or whether or not he's the last messenger, and this thing. It's important to know why Allah mentioned that he's the Khatam Nabiyin. It's important to understand these things. And it's important to get away from nonsense in our lives. You hear what I'm saying? Get away from it. Because the longer you're away from nonsense, the more you'll be closer to some sense. No nonsense means some sense. And Allah is going to continue to feed you and I. Oh, wow. This is a note that I got from the convener. I had seen it, but he brought it back to my mind. Imam Bashir. This ayah. And I'll read the first part of it so that I won't prolong the time. Are you listening? Listen. Omar? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُونُوا قَوَّامِينَ لِلَّهِ شُهَدَاءَ بِالْقِسْطِ وَلَا يَجْرِمَنَّكُمْ شَنَآنُ قَوْمٍ عَلَىٰ أَلَّا تَعْدِلُوا أَعْدِلُوا هُوَ أَقْرَبُ لِلتَّقْوَىٰ وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ خَبِيرٌ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ. Translation. Oh, you who have attained faith. And this is our position all over the world. All over the world. Be always steadfast in your devotion to Allah, bearing witness to the truth, and in all equity. Where is the people that's doing that on this planet? Where is the group on this planet that's being very, very, very careful that they don't allow themselves to go away from the haqq, the truth? Where is that group? Well, you may have some spotches over here, some spots, some areas over here, some areas over there. But this one group that's holding to the Sirat al-Mustaqim, and there are many of them, are the ones who have held true and consistent to the leader, Imam Hamidullah rahimahullah. No, brother, you wrong in that now. You wrong in that. You know I know us, right? So Imam Muhammad was explaining about Moses. You remember this, mirrors? Parting the Red Sea, you remember that? And how the people that did not really want him to be successful, they let him go at first, but they let him go, they let Moses go at first, but they thought about it, the Pharaoh. He thought about it. He said, no, I'm not going to let him go. Go get them, you know what I'm saying? You know the word is go get them. Bring them back here. But the metaphor or the picture language in this is that he said that the name of that sea was the Red Sea. And red represents passions. So this community has to rid itself of individualism, egotism. I have egotism. I got this right here. Let me read it. Just let me read it for the sake of time. And I'm doing this from love. I'm not playing no games here now. I'm serious about this. Sometimes he said you have to go back to move forward. I mentioned this in the Jumah last week. So what do you mean go back to go forward? Well, yeah, you got a big truck. You got one of those big GMC, big round truck. You put it in your garage. You got and unless you got a $1 gazillion home, where you just drive through there and drive on the other side. Most of us don't have those kind of homes. But if you put your car in drive, as soon as you come out of the garage, you're going to drive through the kitchen or the living room, whatever's on the other side of that wall. So he said you have to sometimes go back to go forward. So I'm going to go back. Is it okay? As my mother used to say, Lord have mercy. How far back can we go? We can only go as far back as we can humanly go. We can't go any further back than that. So here's the story in a capsule form. A group of believers from Yemen asked the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasul, how did all of this stuff start? What happened in the very beginning? And he was talking about creation and life. So the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was so very sharp and keen, he answered. He said, the first thing that Allah, speaking to the mirrors, the first thing that Allah created was the pen. Our life and destiny was written for 50,000 years before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created anything. I want this to resonate on me and you again, because I thought about it. I said, you mean to tell me that my life my destiny, what I was going to do at birth, how much I would weigh, how long I would live, what my livelihood would be. All of that was written 50,000 years ago. This is from the mouth, the mouth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So now we believe in Allah. There's another thing the Imam said. He said, the Muslim world can remember the Qur'an from Al-Fatiha to An-Nas with no mistakes. He said, but you know what happened? Many of them forgot Muhammad. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I was sitting there, some of you may have been sitting there listening to him. And that's the major problem today in the world for Muslims. That they remember the Qur'an. We remember the Qur'an. We talk about Tafsir Qur'an bil Qur'an. We talk about those who are master Tafsir, Mufassirs, and all of these different people. People that master grammar, Arabic grammar, and all of that. The Imam said, get you 2 or 3 books on the biography of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and read those books from the beginning, from the cover to the end, so you would know and be familiar with how our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam interacted with the Quran to produce hadith. So in this world of Red Sea Muslims who dwell more in hadith than they do revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's the Red Sea for us. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to depend upon Him totally, more and more. Tawakkal ala Allah. Listen, tawakkal ala Allah. Rely upon Allah more and more. So we will discover more and more, and I know you have it, but I'm saying we will discover more and more love. Hub, which is love in Arabic, right? Hub, love. But what love are we talking about? We're talking about the love that Allah has for us, and the love that we should be having for Allah. And the love, hub love, now this is a Quranic term, as you know, but hub is the hub of the Quran. The hub of the Quran, not the love of this world. You got all kind of love. Oh, baby, you love me? Yeah, baby, I love you. How much? I love you so much, man. So much. No, I'm not talking about that kind of love. I'm talking about a love on another level where the servant loves his Lord. The servant is appreciative of his Lord. The servant is appreciative to be able to bow down, to bow down before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The servant loves his Lord. One of the other things that the Prophet said, he said, when trust is lost, wait for the judgment. It's near. So we have to garner up our trust and our hubb for God, our love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our love for Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our love for each other sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Shore it up, as they say in business. I got to show up those numbers, man. I got to make sure those numbers, crunch those numbers, make sure those numbers are right. Show up the love, brothers and sisters. That's the end of the first khutbah. May Allah accept.
Allahu Akbar.
الصلاة والسلام على خير المرسلين محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. I want to go through this pearl of information to bring our mirroring minds, in sync with one another in a sense. How many of you all remember that 8-track tape? The need for leadership. Imam W.G. Muhammad. Raise your hand. You understand that? You remember that? Bad tape, man. I got jump started on that one. I wore that bad boy out in my little Khutbah I had at that time. The need for leadership. And do you think there's a different need right now? There's a need for leadership right now. What kind of leadership, Brother Hatim? The need for Quranic leadership. The need for leadership that's balanced with the Qur'an. And I'm not talking about, getting so deep you lost the whole class kind of leadership. I'm not talking about that kind of leadership. I'm talking about the leadership that has this, what I'm saying here, tawakkal ala Allah, more reliance upon Allah and more hubb for each other. All of the leaders loving each other more. You think we need more love more? Yes, we do. So this is what happened to us. Man, we've been through it. For us to be here right now and sane is a miracle.
That's true.
The need for leadership. I want you to remember that. You remember that. Now, watch this now. How many of you remember the Imam saying that we had an identity crisis? You remember that? Going back to go. I can back it up and go forward now. Back up and go forward. You remember the Imam telling us that if we were going to be successful, we had to have moral excellence. Remember that? Our morality. He described morality. He described morality one time as a person who goes, he's a swimmer, and he goes underwater, and he's able to open his eyes and see clearly where he's going while he's swimming underwater. That's an example of morality. That's the kind of life we have to be able to live as brothers and as sisters in this religion. Okay? So now, how many of you remember Imam Hamidullah rahimahullah? You remember Imam Hamidullah? Raise your hand. Yeah, he touched a lot of people, didn't he? But I don't ever hear anybody say, let's think about doing something commemorating, I think we're going to do it, the 50th year, right? When Imam W. Muhammad. So when we have these programs, brothers, people say, oh, y'all always going, you old brothers always going back talking about when y'all used to sell papers and this and hell, we the ones set the pace for y'all to get here. You can't just come in and assume leadership, degrade it, and then what happens is you just start dissing all of the older brothers. Don't do that. That's not the African. Do the Africans do that in Africa, Esau? How do you treat your elder? Quit playing the game of, running game about who is me. Now, whining about, this and that and the other. Wait a minute, man. You say you follow Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Did Muhammad do that? Did Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam criticize every day? Was that part of his character? No, it was not. Even when Rasulullah got upset with someone, he would not go through all kind of baby temple tantrum. Come on now, we are an adult community. We're supposed to be loving each other, and we're supposed to close the ranks, and we're not supposed to be separating the ranks.
Khateeb.
This is our responsibility to bring this information to fore and say, okay, let me weigh this action with my prophet. Did the prophet do that? Many times our answer will come back, no, he didn't do that, brother. We have to be very careful. And the other way around too, that we have to, as Allah says in the Qur'an, make room in the assemblies. You think that's all that means? I don't think that's all that means. Our tribe, our community is an assembly, a national and a global assembly. We have to make room in this assembly for the young brothers, the young imams, young sisters, young scholars coming up. millennium. Yeah. I'm not making fun of anybody personally, one-on-one, I'm not doing it. Listen, if you see someone promising, you should look back and say, oh, that brother, he has someone for him. I think we need to pay attention to him. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, the Jews do this, the Arabs do this. They look in their community, as Imam Muhammad told us, they look who is promising. This young boy here is promising. They put money behind their rabbis, and they put money behind their imams coming up. They send them to school, spend their own money for them. Now, our catch-22 is, and it's unfortunate in most cases, we ain't have no money. So we have to create situations where we can do the same thing that everyone else has done to see that these young, bright young men, brothers and sisters, have a way to flex, man. These people want to flex. You know how you work. Go to the gym and build up one muscle, two muscles. You want to show something. That's the same way they feel. They say, look, I got a little something over here, man. You know what I'm saying? But they won't say it because you know the Hatim said, the one that asks for leadership, don't give it to him. And then you real quick to apply that one. And all this is out of love, I'm telling you. Because isn't it a wonderful thing going through all of that, those trials and tribulations? Well, what trials and tribulations, man? You take it a little bit long, but that's may Allah forgive me. Check this out now. Think about these concepts and think about what I'm saying. Because I'm doing it too. I've done it and I'm still doing it. The trauma of colonialism. You know what shape that left us in? The trauma of colonialism, the trauma of socialism, the trauma of Trinitarianism. You know how many of us were in Trinitarian doctrines? Locked up, rolled up, ripped up, and tied up. They thought we were never coming out of that church, man. The trauma of, wait for it, Arabia egotism. You gotta be careful, man. Because once you get a few surahs under your belt and then you get a little grammar and this, that, and the other, then the process that you thought you left, it comes back, it kicks back in again, and that ego comes back. Ego of the monster again. Brothers, don't do that. Don't do that. Stay humble. Let's stay humble. If we stay humble, Allah will give us more. If we stay true to our identity as a Muslim, as it was given to us by our Prophet Muhammad, we're going to soar. I don't care how much people hate it. You know. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken us through all this. The trauma of artificial truth, the trauma of monarchy, leadership, not all, but some, outside and inside, the trauma of slavery, as we mentioned, the post-slavery shirt disorder. That's a classic Imam Ahmed special. Post-shirt slave disorder. So we still have that gene swimming through our system. It's swimming through our system. We have to catch it. No surgeon can go in and get that gene and pull that negative gene out of us, but we have to have what is called introspection, to do self-surgery on ourselves and say, I don't like this about myself. There's something that I come a long way up, I'm okay, but I don't like this about myself. Let me see, will Allah allow me to go in here and do surgery on that particular characteristic in me? Go in there with that scalpel, man, and say, oh, arrow. You know what arrogance is? Arrogance. Brother, arrogance is still swimming through this genetic pool. And we got to go in there and get it out. The trauma of intellectualism and reverse racism. The trauma of leadership phobia. Shura Bainahum, right? Shura Bainahum. But among who? Not among the ignorant. Because the person will come up and tell you, you're supposed to conduct shura, brother. Sorry. But that brother there, he just got through hitting up some coke or something that they multiplied the recipe for. And then he gonna come in after Jumah and say, where's the shura, brother? You don't allow people like that to get in no kind of position. They take over your masjid. Like they're taking over some of these masjids in our community. Not necessarily that is one of the habits that they have, but they do stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Finally finding some kind of sense of self-worth with the nature of Islam and the army of Elijah Muhammad. May Allah have mercy on him and his wife, Clara Muhammad. Allahu Akbar wa lillahi. Even while navigating through that language and phase, Allah still blessed us. Now, am I right or wrong? Right. We were under a language of Islam that was foreign to Islam. But it was our faith that pulled us through that because we heard Allah, we heard Muhammad, we heard Rasulullah, and we learned how to say some of our prayers. The prayer of Ibrahim. We learned how to say our prayer. That was helping us to navigate and move through the Red Sea of this world. And I'm telling you, those of you who survived that situation, you are a miracle of God. You are a miracle of God, man. Because there was no way that we were supposed to come out of that set of circumstances sane. But Allah heard the du'as, Allah heard the prayers. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gave us the leadership that we needed. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. After all of that, Allah blessed us to be immersed. I'm talking about immersed into the insightful, impactful, wise, Quranic leadership of His son, Imam Wardi Muhammad. He's the upon our leader, Imam Wardi Muhammad, Rahimahullah alayhi. So I'm going forward now. I just backed up. I'm going forward. Our community, this is for the record, this is for the history books. Our community weathered several rounds of challenges. You know, like a hurricane has several rounds of wind bands that keep coming around and hit again and say, now you're in the eye over there. And then the other side, you come out on the other side, some more wind bands, 60, 70 miles an hour, hit you, but you got to brace again for that. Come on, I'm talking like this because I know them now. I have been a scholar of hurricanes right now. I'm a student studying about hurricanes right now. And hurricanes are like the forces in society that want to take you out. Our brother and associate, Imam Mubashir, he put it this way. Please listen. However, by the time we reached our fifth convener's leadership after the passing of Imam Muhammad Rahimahullah alayhi, at the time we reached about the fifth convener's leadership session, it became very clear that many people believed that the issues and problems described were symptoms of a larger core problem. Are you listening? I want you to listen. We lacked the leadership skills. Many of us were in leadership position, but define what is a leader? What is the leadership skills we need? How do we digest those skills and execute those skills of a good leader? Did we look at Muhammad Rasulullah as he executed his skills when he received revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How did he handle people in certain sets of circumstances, under situations? Was all situations to be handled the same? No. So it was leadership skills that the conveners of imams and the leaders, males and females, realized that there needed to be some structure, that is, the lack of structure and strategic planted. And that's why we're here today again in this Orlando, Florida. Alhamdulillah, may Allah bless the conveners, souls, all of them, all of the sectional conveners. May Allah bless them to weather the storm and to hold the line, man.
Yeah.
There's a big void in our communities among the youth. Satan, he comes in, he sees all of the people, they read Qur'an, they're studying grammar and everything. I was like, well, why y'all doing that? I'm going to get these babies. So the women have a program tomorrow on closing the generational gaps. So please be sure to go to that from 9 to 12 tomorrow, right up in the mezzanine room. Strategic, coherent, cohesive, collective, cooperative action to deal with our problems as a unified community. In short, the lack of government and governance. Allah says, speaking to the mirror, if you differ in a matter, refer it to Allah and His messenger. What? You mean I don't have to do nothing? All you got to do is refer it to Allah and His messenger. Oh, what's wrong now? You don't want to refer the situation that you deal with to Allah and His messenger? Well, who are you referring it to then? I have my own opinion about that. So I sound like somebody way back in the 70s. I have my own opinion. You know what they say about opinions? They are like noses. Everybody got an opinion. Come on. Just go to the Qur'an and see did the Prophet Muhammad in his biological life, while he was living among us, walking around on 2 feet in Arabia, did he encounter a problem similar to the problem that we are incurring right now? And I'm telling you, every issue is addressed in the Holy Quran, in the life example of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But let me finish this. Does anyone of you know what a millennium equal to? How many years is a millennium? You don't have to answer that loud. You know how many years? It's 1,000 years. 1 millennium is 1,000 years. Now I want you to get your head around it. You probably already know, but I want to mention it again. 1 millennium is 1,000 years. So this pen that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created first, He wrote the destiny of His creation 50,000 years before He created anything. Before He created water, before He created air, before He created gas, matter, anything. It was a done deal. And the Prophet said, the pens have been lifted and the ink is already dry on our lives. So we have to figure out what chapter we're on in our lives, and we want to know what sentence we are living in and living out, because it's already been done. So if you smile, that was written. If you blink, already written. If you walk, if you talk, if you pray, already written. The destiny is already written for all of us. So now, why did I say that? By mentioning these things, we should take notice of the value of a moment in time, like right now. The next breath that you take, how valuable is that to you and me? The next time you say something so decent to your wife, she lights up like an illuminated football field or something. Take note of how you speak to your husband. Take note on how you speak to your wives, because these moments will never come back again. We are the community of Imam Hamidullah in the hills of North America. And we are under the leadership, through our leader, Imam Hamidullah, under under the leadership of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's our leader, because that was the leader of our Prophet, our Imam Muhammad. Now I'm going to say this. I'm going to take this time to say this. Check this out. You remember Marzuk and Dallas, Dawa man, close to Imam Hamidullah and Marzuk. Well, Marzuk, he's a Dawa man. You may have heard it, but I want to say this right here, right now. He asked Imam Muhammad, rahimahullah, he said, Imam, how do you want to be remembered? That's a good question, right? You know what he said? He said, they don't even have to remember my name. This is the Imam. Check this out. He said, they don't even have to remember my name. Everybody look. He said, just take note to tell the people that there's a man that came in the last part of the 20th century. A man came. That's a difference. A man came. And he had a book, meaning the Qur'an. And that every time he took something from that book and put it down, something came up. This is the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We're the ones that came up under that language. And he said, and he underscored the fact, it is in the language. Well, anybody can read Arabic. But can everybody read signs? The closer you are, and I am to Allah, the better we'll be able to read. The more we love Allah, the more sensitive we are to Allah. So this term, hub, is a two English word and Arabic, hub, love. Not the love of this world, but the love that's mentioned in the Qur'an. It's a different kind of love. Remember number 8 that the Imam gave, the Khateeb gave, concerning challenges. Leadership phobia and identity crisis syndrome. Remember, we all have to remember this. Not just a few, everybody. When you differ in a matter, refer back to Allah and His Messenger. We have that communication in the books that came from God, in the Torah. There is the truth. In the Injil, there is in the Gospel. They call it now the Bible because it's been dealt with in so many ways. The real message, you can't read the real message because there's so much innovation there. And the Qur'an, he said, the Imam said, fight ye the schemes of Satan. We are not judged by what we know. We are judged by what we do. Our taqwa and what we do. And if Allah says that the taqwa reaches Allah, we need to pay attention to that. What reaches Allah? You mean to tell me this big halal turkey don't reach Allah? We said Bismillah. We said Bismillah before we kill this turkey. This turkey must be special. No, that's not it. The taqwa reaches Allah. I don't want to think about that for a minute. Oh, what did you say, Mom? It is not their blood that reaches Allah. It is their taqwa that reaches Allah. So I have to ask myself, how much of this taqwa do I have? When do I know I have some of it? How She said, I want more. Give me more. And she get mad at her mama because she didn't give her more or whatever she was asking for, but she was after it. I want more. So I'm telling you, and like we should have the appetite that we should have for this taqwa for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should want more and be able to manage more of this taqwa. So what we know is one thing. What we do with what we know, that's a whole other situation. إذا أمن إمامه فأمنوا فأنه من وافق تأمينه تأمين الملائكة غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه. Translation. This is from Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. He said that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when the Imam, speaking to the mirror, when the Imam says Ameen, then all of you say Ameen. For whoever says Ameen with the Ameen of the angels, then all of his or her past sins are forgiven. So brothers and sisters, when we say Ameen, say Ameen from here. This is a Jumah, and this Jumah is under the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah tells us through the Prophet, يَدَّ اللَّهِ عَلَى جَمَاعٍ يَدَّ اللَّهِ عَلَى جَمَاعٍ. The hand of Allah is on the group. Iqamat as-salat.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح وقامت الصلاة وقامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
So please feel on the straight in the Qur'an. Think only about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Please concentrate on Allah while we're praying to Allah. It means the winter salat. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعاديات ضبحا فالموريات قدحا فالمغيرات صبحا فأثرن به نقعا فوسطن به جمعا إن الإنسان لربه لكنود وإنه على ذلك لشهيد وإنه لحب الخير لشديد. أفلا يعلم إذا قدر ما في القبور وحصل ما في الصدور إن ربهم بهم يومئذ لخبير. الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
سمع الله لمن حمده.
ربنا لك الحمد.
الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
May Allah accept our salat, may He accept our du'as, and again, welcome to our 2023 Community Development and Leadership Conference here in beautiful Orlando, Florida. Assalamu alaikum. So, if someone wants to join prayers, yes.
Those who have made shower prayer, inshallah, let us stand for the shower prayer.
See if this is my phone, brother. Wait a minute. Yeah, because it changed, yeah.